Were you happy that she was perfectly content with the work that you were doing, or did you have any concern?
I had some concerns.
Why is that?
Because I would be halfway through the job or, you know, just starting, and I would see Jane over the back of my shoulder looking out the window. She was constantly over the top of us, checking what we was doing. I was constantly having to reassure her that everything's fine. The job I'm doing, I know what I'm doing. Like, you know, you could just see there was no trust there.
Obviously, he had seen me looking out the window at what he was doing. And when I went out, he was rotivating, and he let go of the rotivator handles and turned to me and said, I don't appreciate you watching what I'm doing. You need to leave me to get on with it. I'm a turfer. I know what I'm doing. That reaction I didn't expect, and I was a little bit taken aback.
Well, what you claim, madam, is that at that stage you were... This is your language, madam, not mine. You were scared.
I was frightened of him.
You shocked to hear that?
Yes.
Why is that so?
Because it's a lie. I was reassuring her. There was no threats, there was no thingy. She was more than happy for us to carry on with the garden. After I reassured her, she went back inside. She said, OK, no worries. Went back inside, continue to look out the window. And I didn't say nothing else. I just literally reassured her and she went back inside.
I didn't carry on looking out the window at you, Ben. I purposely didn't go to the windows at the back of the house because I just thought... I just waited till Andy came home from work, my husband, because I was quite worried.
It's a very strange thing, you see, when you're scared of someone, to allow them to continue to do work in your garden. You'd agree with me, wouldn't you, madam? You trawled the streets until you found the van, correct?
I went
driving round like the Scooby-Doo team.
I went to the locations that I was told that it had been seen parked.
You were driving round. I just want to be clear. You took up hours of your own time sleuthing until you found that van. You arrived, you asked him to disclose his address. As a matter of law, you would be able to give a statement in due course saying you'd spoken to the person. This was the address that he provided as his last known address. He provided you that address. You decided not to drive away. Instead, what you did, madam, is as follows.
Yeah, this is... Make your mind up.
I don't understand. I've asked you...
Make your mind up.
There's no need... There's no need. There's literally...
Make your mind up. I just want my £500 back. I don't want any aggro. I don't want any...
I think you should go a legal route, not this. This is harassment.
I can go down the legal route with an address.
Okay.
You're telling me that you don't actually live there, Ben.
So it's... Yeah, so yeah, but I'll receive the letter. So one minute you're telling me you're going to...
Because if I send the letter to...
What?
You could say, I'm not registered at that address. I never received that letter. I've got no proof that you're ever going to pick that letter up.
There you go. Look, I'm trying to cooperate with her. I'm trying to, and she's still giving me aggro on my doorstep, basically, causing a scene in front of everyone, trying to embarrass me. I just wanted to go so it can be handled at a different time when everyone has calmed down.
Waiting for the police.
How long did this standoff last?
6 hours.
Why on earth were you there for 6 hours, madam?
Because obviously after he'd filmed me doing that, he said that he was going to get me done for harassment. So at that point, I said to him, well, I'm not going to go until the police have come, because I don't believe that what you're going to say to them is going to be a true representation of what's happened.
I received that threatening text message.
The threatening text message being...
It wasn't threatening.
Before
that,
a text message begging her to take the post down.
He said, bad idea, put me on Facebook.
But before
Do you know you can my entire business? It wasn't threatening towards her, it was about our business.
Is this the one I've got? Trading standards won't do a thing. I've said I'm not coming back but once.
I haven't said I'm not coming back. Stuart then rang me and offered me £50 to remove the post, and I rejected that.
Did he make that offer? How much did he offer you?
£50 initially.
Right.
I then rejected that, and he called back about an hour or two later and offered me 100, and I rejected that one as well.
Well, let me ask you, had he offered to pay you back what you'd paid up front, roughly 800, just shy of it, would you have taken the review down?
Yes.
Yes. And on the same day, there was a telephone call. Do you remember this telephone call? Yes. Somebody decided to record the call. Whose idea was that?
Saturday. That was the Saturday when I put the post on the
Absolutely.
20th.
Who decided to record the telephone call?
I did.
Why did you decide to record it?
Because he was threatening us.
Stuart, did you know that you were being recorded?
No.
Do you believe that you made any threats?
Yeah.
You do believe that?
Yeah, I made a threat, yes. We did tell him he was being recorded.
At the end.
He then went on to threaten. knowingly that
After you'd said he was being recorded?
After we informed him.
Let's have a listen to the tape, then.
She's not taking out down. She's not taking out right. Watch and wait what? You do know you're being recorded, don't you? Watch and wait what? What are you going to do? I'll snap you. You do know you're being recorded, don't you?
What was the nature of the threat?
Violence.
What precisely was said on that tape?
Snap your jaw.
It's quite clear being overwhelmed by other work. That's no excuse, right?
Yeah.
It's no excuse. What did you do when you heard that threat?
I called the police.
What happened in the outcome of the proceeding?
Caution.
You accepted the caution? Yes. Caution presumably related to threats of violence?
Yeah, malicious communication.
Malicious communication. You could have posted a response and ended the matter. Why didn't you do that?
Because of what she'd done to me.
We did have a three.
What did she do next?
I offered her £300.
You did offer her £300?
And then...
But they wanted a full refund for work that was done. And they said they'll take all the posts down if I give them a full refund, so basically blackmailing.
Your post is at the top, and what's written below are other people who aren't here. Anyone, no Carl, ripped me off for £250, was coming to do my bungalow, got money and blocked me on Facebook. Could anyone tell me where he lives? That's your comment, the one second from the bottom. Can you read it to me?
I can't see it without my glasses.
Oh, well, you've got your glasses with you?
No. I've got a copy.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Can I ask Suzanne, do you mind standing up and reading your mother's comment, second from the bottom?
He will be a woman when I have finished.
He will be a woman when I have finished. What about the fourth one from the bottom? Can you read that as well, Suzanne?
It's him that will not be okay when I find him, mate. You know what I am. Like, mate.
You say to move to somebody's address because you were in abject terror, and there are you saying you're going to go around and see him if you knew where he lived, to remove his manhood. Elaine, you entered into an agreement with Kyle where he would decorate your house for £200. Instead of paying him, in lieu of payment, he took a car of that value. Now, that car blew up, unsurprisingly, because it was £200. In the circumstances, however, Kyle failed to attend. As a result of him failing to attend, threats were made against him. In those circumstances, regardless of the threats that were made to you, you were perfectly entitled to block her, but you needed to give her the money back, as you'd taken money for a service which you hadn't performed. In those circumstances, Elaine, you're perfectly entitled to your £200. However, I give it to you very, very reluctantly. Because although, Kyle, nothing Elaine has said is actionable in law, in other words, she hasn't said anything untruthful on that Facebook account, I am satisfied that it's not necessarily reasonable, and I'm going to ask her to desist. Had she said something about the quality of your work, where it had been untrue, you would have had an action against her. In the circumstances here, you don't, for the reasons I've given. So your claim for £1,500 has to be dismissed. Don't come to court, especially my court, and claim that you are the victim of violence and you are the victim of threats. In fact, you're a victim per se when you're making threats of that kind, wanting this young man's address for no other reason than, according to your own evidence, to see to it. Understood? Don't lie to Judge Rinder, it doesn't go well. He did, in fact, agree to pay you back in 2 instalments.
Yes, he did this himself because he said he was so earnest about paying me back that he wrote his own contract.
I cannot stress how sorry I am that this has happened. Was that true when you wrote it?
Absolutely.
Why are you upset?
Because this whole situation's happened. Obviously, Jenny's a good person, and it didn't mean to happen.
You didn't pay the first instalment by the 13th of September. He didn't pay the second instalment by the 20th of September, correct? You've got nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's how sorry he was. Do you see? You pay back £200 of it. He's come back and given you £50 and a box of chocolates and say, I'll pay it back over a period of time.
No.
Why not?
Word spread around what happened about this, and very quickly got rid of all the jobs that I had.
Trading Standards emailed you, correct?
Yes.
requesting payment to be made by the 13th of October, and yet you still didn't pay it back. Madam, you'd promised your daughter access to being outside. What did it do to your daughter?
She's very, very upset because we thought that we would have the whole summer where she would be able to go into the garden and watch the horses in the field behind.
You put out a Facebook message.
I did.
As a result of that Facebook message, a number of people got in touch with you, correct? I shall read the statement from one of them. I'm also a victim of Carl's. He doesn't just do building works, he sometimes sells things on Facebook. I bought 4 music records off him for £100, which he failed to send me. After messaging him, I heard many excuses, but didn't receive either the records or my refund. After posting my situation online to several groups, I received a huge response from others he had ripped off. One of them was Jenny, one of them was you, who explained her situation to me. I was so shocked and disgusted. Do you know what he went on to do?
He asked if he could have my permission to set up a fundraising page.
It was already generated over £200 worth of donations, correct? I also set up a second website which told people he was a scammer. This person also put your photo up. I did this to shame him and warn others not to trust him or to buy anything from him.
Yeah, it's a totally separate situation, which I was dealing with until someone found Jenny. And then as soon as anyone read Jenny's post, I didn't get a chance to.
Was this a single pebble in a little river, madam? Or were there other people who complained?
People contacted me about similar situations.
Hi, I just wanted to say I'm so sorry about Carl's behaviour. I've known him for years. He stole my wages on my birthday when I had nowhere to live. I'm going to donate to the cause as soon as I get paid. I can't afford much, but hopefully others will do the same. This is a hearsay statement from somebody who is not named, to whom you cannot question. And although I give it limited weight, because I must, would you like to respond to it?
Yeah, it's a friend of probably around 14 years. And the situation this is on about was over 9 years ago.
Jen, you entered into a straightforward contract with Carl for him to do work. He didn't show up, he didn't give you a refund. I have no difficulty whatsoever coming to the view that A, you have an enforceable contract, what's more, he's bound to give you a full refund. I give you this advice, however, madam, that bearing in mind the overriding contract price was £2,000, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do to give him 3/4 of the money up front. Nevertheless, as far as I'm concerned, you had an impeccable paper trail, which is why I'm prepared to order your full application of £1,577, with a view to you having your money back and finding a reliable, decent and honest builder to complete the work.
Thank you.
It's between me and you. It's nothing. It's not between you and your friends or your friends on Facebook that have slagged us off on Facebook saying this and that.
Well, you should have completed work that was done that I paid for.
Right,
I paid 13,660 quid to you. All right.
And you've got 11 grand in your house.
So what? My money is to do with you.
You're saying right that I took.
I paid you 13,666 quid for work that was not completed.
But I didn't. Yeah? But I didn't take 13,600.
Yes, you did. It's in bank statement. First impressions. I mean, even when you look at the guy, you think, oh, you know, nice, genuine guy, butter wouldn't melt and all that. But believe me, he's not as charming as he makes out.
This occasion is just. It stressed me out. It's actually made us ill a bit.
Thanks for coming to court, but you've still left me high and dry. I won't be screwed over ever again because I've learnt from my lesson. Believe, I've learnt from my lesson.
Don't be stupid. Stay and watch the best Judge Rinder moments. And I'm talking. Understood? Don't be a moron. Subscribe to Judge Rinder YouTube channel. Right now. That's an order.